stage Nicola Grace.
Hi everybody, I'm mic'd up, so I kind of feel like I might take off and start flying at some stage. Thanks. Am I all good to go? Great. So how many people like the idea of getting paid to change the world? Can I see a show of hands? How many find that idea repugnant? Like maybe you should change the world for free and volunteer and what have you? Yeah, not commercialise spirituality. So I'm going to address that today because as Anthony said, I think this is a very important topic for us in the consciousness movement, because as we have been expanding our consciousness, we have also been expanding poverty consciousness in our movement. And I think that's really important to address and change. So how many of you here do feel like there's something that you're here to do, that you've got a mission, a purpose? Right, show of hands. Keep your hand up if you feel you're bang on purpose. You're doing it, you're getting rewarded for it, right? If money, if you couldn't work today, you've got money coming in for the next year. Okay, cool. So we got some work to do. So what I'm going to be talking about in the first part of my presentation is a paradigm shift that is happening in our economy, how it's happening, why it's happening. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I found out about monetizing my mission, and then talk about the 5 practical steps that you can take to start that journey on discovering what your mission really is and how to monetize it. And Anthony said to me, Nicola, I want some practical steps. Give them some practical steps. So I'm going to give you some practical steps, and you're welcome to come and see me today all throughout tomorrow, and I can send you my slides so you can actually start going through the questioning process I'm going to walk you through today. So we all know that we're moving out of the industrial age and we're going into the information age, and every time we shift ages, we shift economic models. The reason why we're having so many global financial crises and so many issues with our monetary system right now is because we haven't shifted economic models. We're still operating on an industrial model. That's about to change. We're moving into a social business model. Something that's going to incorporate prosperity for everybody, thoughts about the planet, thoughts about our purpose, not just plunder and profit. Isn't that good news? Yes. It's really good news. So what's leading this charge is this thing called social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is where somebody goes into business to solve a social problem, an environmental problem, a financial problem within the system, going outside the system. So bottom line is you're creating change in the community and therefore change in the world, and you're trading to do that. You're not doing it under a charity. You're not doing it in terms of an NGO where you're then having to rely on governments and corporations to fund you to allow you to proceed with your mission. You're being entrepreneurial about it. That's what social entrepreneurship is. And this is something that's really exciting to me. The majority of social enterprises on the planet today, according to a global study done in the UK, are outperforming financially ordinary small to medium-sized businesses. Is that huge or what? Right, this is the growth industry. This is the new economy. This is where we're headed. So it's terribly, terribly exciting to me. The millennial generation, which is 16 to 38, somewhere around there, they're the ones that are really going to explode this growth. They are 80% more likely to go into business to solve a social problem than to go into business just to make money. And that is a huge difference from the baby boomer generation, who if they wanted to solve a social problem, they'd become a social worker, or they would start a charity or a foundation. So this idea of mixing purpose and mission and money and giving back to the community within a business structure is growing, and it's absolutely about to explode. Now, I first discovered this in 2012. It's like I knew that about the paradigm shift. I mean, I'm sort of been in the personal development and spiritual development movement since I was 18. I started with meditation and yoga, and I read Ken Key's Handbook to Higher Consciousness, and I'm about to turn 54, so I've been around for a while. And I've seen things come and go, and trends come and go, and you get to see patterns. The longer you live, you look back and you see all of these patterns. But in 2012, I saw a mass awakening happen almost overnight. I'm a visionary, and that's kind of a fancy name for psychic, and I see visions. And in 2012, I started having all these amazing visions with these people coming to see me. Prior to 2012, they were saying to me, saying, Nicola, how do I make more sales? And my staff stealing from me? You know, what direction should I go? And is he the one? All that kind of stuff. 2012, literally the January 1st, I worked on January 1st. Everybody came to me and they said the exact same thing. I feel like I'm here to do something else, but I just can't put my finger on what it is. Who's feeling that here today? Right? I feel like I've got a big mission, and like money's good, but I really want to be making a difference. Who feels like that? You really want to be making a difference. Great. So I got to the end of the year and I consulted with over 1,000 business owners and professionals, all saying the same thing. I feel like I've got a higher purpose, or there's something here for me to do. And so I saw that there was no Armageddon in 2012, but there was a massive Armageddon out here. Because people wanted to get out of jobs that were just to pay bills and were unsatisfactory, or businesses that were just about money, and into something that was giving back to the community and making a big difference in the world. I also started to see massive amounts of blueprints. Everybody, I started to see their blueprints, and I started scratching my head. Seriously, I was scratching my head, and I went, wow, everybody's got this blueprint, and in that blueprint is a plan for you to transition really gracefully during this economic crisis that we're going to be going through, the ups and downs, through this paradigm shift. And I saw a peaceful passing from one system to another. But that was only a potential, because not everybody lives up to their mission blueprint. So when I looked back and I saw the ripple effect of everything, like if you stepped up to your purpose, and if you monetized that, and that was your 100% focus, and if everybody did that, I came up with this belief, and I really strongly believe it, is that when we en masse transition out of making money just for the sake of paying our bills and making money, and into making money by making a difference, excuse me, we're going to transition the world. We're going to change the world. And not only that, we're going to make the monetary system obsolete. I'm going to say that again. We'll make the monetary system obsolete. Great. Fantastic. Yeah, that's good, yes. And here's how we're going to do it. So this mission blueprint was all about your plan in that. Because when you think about it, if you wake up in the morning and you just want to do what you love and you're really passionate about it, you want to help people, you want to help them out, you want to help the planet, you really don't care whether you get paid for it, because the joy of doing it is all the reward that you need. Now that's okay in a system that's not monetized, but we are now in a monetary system still. It's not obsolete yet. So we do need to get paid for it, right? But if everybody was doing what they love doing, then we're going to start transitioning out of this need for reciprocity, because we're also joyful about giving, that giving becomes the currency. So a lot of people are talking about we're moving into a gifted economy or a giving economy. I don't know if it's going to happen in our lifetime. I sure hope it does. I am planning on living till I'm 250. So, because I want to be around for that. Who wants to be around for that when we just hang out and create and do cool stuff? Awesome. The reason why I think this is really important, and Anthony nailed it, is that there's this thing in the universe called a vacuum, and it's abhorred by the universe. The universe abhors a vacuum. Who's heard of that before? So whenever a vacuum is created, instantaneously it begins to get filled by something. So I've just witnessed that we conscious people who love, we love spending our money and investing our money in spiritual development and getting our pineal gland open and detoxing and all that stuff. This is where we invest our time and we invest our money. And we invest it in consciousness. We've moved away from the monetary system going, oh, that thing there, it's not going to last very long, right? But what we've done is we've created a vacuum. We feed the greed when we take ourselves out of that system. Because the fact of the matter is that greed is also increasing on the planet. Would you agree with me on that? The 1% are getting greedier. And the problem with that is that money is power in our society today. Until money is no longer with us, it is power. And the people that have the power are able to point the guns in any direction that they want to. So I feel personally it's part of my mission to create peace on earth, which is what my mission is. That's why I've got my little suitcase here to remind me, is to fill the vacuum and go, here's my light. I'm repurposing money as a force for good in the world, and I'm going to hold this space, and I'm going to create financial wealth for myself so I can give back to my community, because money in my hands and money in your hands is much better than money in the elite's hands. Would you agree with me on that one? Yeah. So we need to repurpose money. And purpose is not only changing lives on the planet right now, it's actually changing the world. Roger Hamilton said 12 purpose-driven waves are fast disrupting 12 corporate industrial models. So purpose is changing the world already. There are corporations that are floundering because of all of these disruptors, these purposeful economies that are being born, social entrepreneurship. It's going quantum next year in 2017. And you know, like, there are some people who say, and I don't know if this is true, 2017 is the real 2012, and others say it's 2016. It doesn't matter, because all of these years are really phenomenally highly transformational, yeah? I mean, they're intense. Come on, let's face it. They're really intense. So whatever it is, but 2012 happens to actually be a very economic significant year, because it is the year that the largest generation in our history come fully into their spending power, and the second to large generation in our history, the baby boomers, begin to en masse retire. Now, when you think of how the economy has shifted because of baby boomer generation values, we're going to see massive shifting happening because of millennial values, because they're coming into their buying power next year. They're already changing the economy. So there's lots of global statistics about this generation, because we've got to come to terms with it, because they're going to determine what our world looks like. She's got a big grin on her face down here. That's awesome. So looking at all of these global statistics, we know that purpose is now determining people's buying decisions at an ever increasing rate. I recently bought luggage because of their purpose. They have all these really Buddhist sayings in the luggage you open up. Every time it's a little bit like the babushka dolls, and there's all these little lovely sayings. I'm just going, oh yay, I feel good. I like my purchase. So there's been an increase in people buying things because of the purpose and the mission and the social good that the company is doing. 87% of global consumers that have been surveyed have said that it is just as important to be of social interest in your business than it is profit. That's a huge shift, because it's all been about plunder and profit up until now, yeah? Huge shift. Millennials are only 7% likely to work for a big Fortune 500 corporation, and these corporations are floundering right now because they can't find good skilled labour. Did you know that? So they're restructuring. There's all these courses on how to attract millennials. They are changing corporations, they're changing our world. Is that me standing too close to the speaker? This part I love. 60% of millennials, and this was a global survey, have described themselves as activists. Yay! Right? And they're going into business to change the world. They're not working for big corporations. Because the only reason corporations get to rape, loot and plunder our planet is because we work for them. Right? That's changing. So the bottom line is, it's never, ever, ever been a better time in history to clarify what your mission is and monetize it. Make some changes in your community, make some changes in people's lives, or make some changes in the world and get really, really well paid for it. So, give me a... So finding your purpose and living your purpose is no longer a luxury that hippies do in Byron Bay. It's something that all of us are going to need to do going forward into this new economy. So I'm just going to briefly talk about how I got here. It was 2006. I worked with the natural health industry of New Zealand to beat back legislation that was pretty much going to close them down. If any of you have heard of the Therapeutic Goods Administration, or the TGA, yeah? Hands up who've heard of them? Who have not heard of the TGA? FDA in America on steroids. Yeah. Oh shit. Here in Australia. So New Zealand and Australia formed a joint venture to say we're going to create our corporation. It's going to be run by the pharmaceutical industry to regulate themselves, and we'll let them regulate the natural health industry. Yeah, exactly. So that legislation passed in Australia. It all but passed in New Zealand, and when I came on board, I created a strategy for the natural health industry in my capacity as a visionary, and I said, hey, I think this is going to work. We rolled it out. Within 6 months, we defeated the legislation. We threw the joint venture out of Parliament. The truth of the matter is that we're still fighting it because there's another wave. You know, the pharmaceutical companies won't stop until we stop them. But what I started thinking is like, man, I love this so much. I found my natural talent as a strategist and a visionary. I want to get paid to do this all the time so I could help change makers create big changes in government, create big changes in people's lives, create big changes in families. And that's how the Mission Mentor was born. So now what I do is I help people clarify and monetize their mission to make a difference. So together we can change the world and we can get paid for it. So that's our 100% focus. Because I think it's going to happen faster if we can focus on that 100%, yeah? Yeah, and I train social entrepreneurs. I am considered the expert in this area by Google. I am on the front page of Google, and I'm pretty much the only one on the front page of Google under Monetize Your Mission for World Change. And as Anthony said, I'm the featured social entrepreneur speaker in Motivational Speakers America. And I'm only saying that, not because I'm a rah-rah person, but I want to encourage you that as an activist, it is easy to now monetize your activism, because that's what I've done, and I want to show you how to do it. So I live in paradise, and I'm able to give money back to, you know, to the causes that I feel really, really passionate about, and I'm active in that as well too. And in October, I'm off to Johannesburg in South Africa to take my social entrepreneur training, Right Mission, Right Money, and working with the Maharishi Institute, who are the Transcendental Meditation. They meditate and levitate outside of hotspots, and they bring the level of violence down. Have you ever heard of them? Yeah, so I have a B1G1 policy for every entrepreneur I train in the West. I then go into Africa or impoverished nations and bring empowerment, education and mentoring to the young entrepreneurs there, and I'm doing it through the Maharishi Institute. So I get to do cool stuff, I get to meet cool people, and I want you to be having that as well. So I'm going to give you my clear path formula. It's my social blueprint formula. I'm going to give you all 5 steps that I do in my training. And as I said, if you want to have this PowerPoint presentation plus a longer version of the talk, you can come and see me and I can send that to you via email. So number 1, the very first thing you want to do, excuse me, I just don't seem to be able to drink enough water. Who's finding that? It doesn't matter how much water you drink. Yeah, it has to do with conducting the light that's coming in. I heard somebody go, oh. Yeah, it needs water to conduct, otherwise you get sore muscles, your throat starts closing over. And when I talk, I release a lot of light, so excuse me. First question you want to ask yourself is, how do I expand? How is it for me the best to expand? Because think about this. If you need to expand your current situation, you need to expand you. You don't want to go out there and have a look at how you can expand out there first. You need to go, well, how do I expand? And specifically what I've discovered is we expand through expression, through expressing ourselves. We have this thing called primary expression modalities. And this is the crux of putting a core together of what your business is, where you should be focusing and what you should be doing on a day-by-day basis. So a couple of expressions of mine: writing, speaking, educating. When I shifted my focus in my business to write more, speak more and educate more, that's when I started making money. That's when I started affecting huge transformation in individuals. So you have that ability as well. In these expressions, you get to cause the greatest amount of transformation on the planet, and it's kind of like where your mojo is, which is the next question you want to ask. Where's your mojo in the paradigm shift? And mojo for me is this place within us where we get to create. We get to create great and extraordinary results. And we all have it, right? Everybody has been dumbed down to think of ourselves as small. And it's like, oh, that's okay for Nicola. She saved $1 billion industry, but she's somehow different from me. I'm not. There is something in me that's also in you that's there waiting to create something really extraordinary. That's your mojo, and that's what you want to look at monetizing. Specifically, how you find that mojo is just getting to terms with what is your mission, what are you here to do? The mission part of your purpose is the doing part. So purpose is all about being, expressing, expanding. Mission is about doing. And that's what you want to look at monetizing. You also want to look at what your niche is. Who are you here to serve? Because when you know who you're here to serve, you know what message you're here to deliver. That's going to give us great clues as to where we need to put you in business, or whether we need to put you in a job working for a social entrepreneur company for a while to get, pay your dues or make some kind of transition. Gives us huge clues. And then also looking at what your unique place at the picnic table of life is. How many here do feel like you've got a message? Because everybody does have a message. You're not necessarily going to be a speaker or a messenger. There'll be lots of ways that message is going to come out. You look at this company here, Hayes Luggage. Their message is over a product, and there's a lot of people producing products out there and they're messengers. But everybody has a message. The next question you want to ask, and this is really important, and I want everybody to take a deep breath in and blow it out, because I'm going to talk about money. How do you make money whether you work, sleep or play? And that's important, because when you're not stressed out about where your next dollar's coming from, you can take time out to rejuvenate, you can take time out to do humanitarian projects, and you can take time out to help more people. So it's really important to start thinking of this thing called leverage, because leverage is what allows you to make money whether you work, sleep or play. Who wants that? Wake up in the morning and you've got more money in there and you know that it's come in because you've helped somebody go through some form of transformation. So I have a social business legacy model that includes this idea of 7. And this was literally what I presented to the natural health industry, this circle the wagons strategy. You can use it for everything. I'm talking about monetization here today. You stick your goal in the middle and you create 7 strategies around it to reach that goal. In this instance, you go, here's my income goal, and now I'm going to have 7 avenues of income coming in to reach that goal. In a business, each and every one of those income needs to service deeply your niche. Because I see a lot of people have 7 income streams and they're running themselves ragged because they're over here serving these people, then they go over here and they're serving these people, and then they're running over here, and it's like they get too scattered. Whereas you serve one niche deeply, you can then service them deeply by adding the next income stream, or you've got 7 products or 7 services or 7 ways of helping them come to higher and higher and higher levels of transformation or joy, whatever it is that you're doing within your business. Interestingly enough, the average millionaire has 7 income streams. So even if you're in a job, you want to start thinking about 7, because 7 has synergy. There's a law in nature called septimal law. There's a synergy in that. And once you start, and this is what happened for me in my business, once I started having more products, more services, servicing the same niche, and it all just started gelling together, then all of a sudden I start getting people coming out of the woodwork wanting to work with me, opportunities coming my way, and now I'm like really stepping forward to do a lot more work in the humanitarian side of things, because I can do that now. You can't start by building 7 strategies right away. You've got to start somewhere, and you want to start thinking about this. And if you come away with nothing from my talk but this one thing, come away with this. Think about now, money now. How does money come in now, each and every week, automated? without you having to work too hard for it. Because when you get that very first piece done, when you get the now money now strategies handled, you not only have money to reinvest into your business or to build the rest of your strategies, you have the stress taken off your shoulders. And like, this is one of the reasons why I can't wait for the monetary system to actually disappear altogether, because I think financial stress is a killer. It's wrong. Like, there's just something wrong about it, right? But we have to deal with it for now. And this is the one thing that's going to take you out of financial stress, is walking around like, what's my now money now? How do I do that? What is that? Now money now has to be something that is in alignment with your expressions, some form of expression for you, because you want to love now money now. You don't want to be working in a job you don't like to take care of the bills, because that just means job, right? Just over broke. You don't want that. Thinking about leverage all the time, what is that going to be? And I've got this picture here of an Indian woman with a bindi on her to remind me that what a now money now strategy allows you to do is really fantastic things. I have a client who is an Indian woman. She's living outside of India, and she's staging an Indian women's liberation movement. Because I don't know if you know about this, but Indian women, whether they're professional or not, whether they live in India or not, they only live to the age of 60, 65 on average, right? And she believes it's because they're emotionally suppressed, because they have to sit back in the family and not share their opinions. They can't be themselves. They can't have autonomy. They don't have freedom. So she's able now to lead a movement. Now, the women's lib movement in the West, nobody got paid to do that. That was all done volunteer. So can you see how possibilities are amazing now with social entrepreneurship? You can lead a movement and you can get paid to do it, and you're serving people, so it's not this awful thing. In fact, it actually brings me to the next thing, my last slide's here. How do you ensure that you can do it? And how do you ensure that you will do it? Because how many people have had a goal and go, yeah, I want this, but then you've been pulled back because the subconscious mind or blocks have gone, nah, you're not going to get that. Yeah, I think we've all had that. So the last step in my formula is you need to remove resistance, specifically this type of resistance, split brain hemisphere syndrome. If you've seen a brain, you'll know the left and the right hemispheres have walls between them, and they're joined just with this little piece here, right? We've got left thinking, right thinking. And until the consciousness movement really started coming into full swing, all of our left brain ideas and our right brain ideas didn't actually gel very well together. Now, work and money was always in the left brain. But spirituality, love, passion, purpose was in the right brain. And it's precisely because we've had this movement in consciousness, we've had paradigm shift upon paradigm shift that's brought us into a much higher level of consciousness around everything, that we can now marry the two together. We can repurpose money, make it a force for good in the world, and eventually, as we bring our light to it, as we bring our consciousness to it, as we fill that vacuum, and we don't let anything else fill that vacuum, that's how we'll make the transformation. So we need to heal this split brain hemisphere syndrome. How it got there is in the olden days with shamans, spiritual people. They were taken care of, right? And then the rest of the tribe had to go out and do all the dirty work. And the reason for that was that we needed one person in our tribe to hold the God consciousness, or whatever you want to call that, for the rest of the tribe. They were the wealthiest because everybody took care of them. They had the biggest tent, the biggest feathers, all that sort of thing. So when we switched into a monetary system and that enslavement system came in on top of us, those people were no longer taken care of. And this is the number one reason spiritual people feel that it's dirty to charge for their work. You get that? Yeah. Good. Awesome, because that can be a real transformation that actually starts to knit those hemispheres together right away. So So when we heal that split brain hemisphere syndrome, we put money, passion, mission together, we no longer feel grievous about people having commercial gain out of spirituality. We see the bigger purpose behind it, the bigger picture, which is bringing our light to the monetary system so it can implode from within, we can transform it and have something else in its place. So everybody take a great big huge deep breath in and just blow all that out. And allow this idea to filter into the brain that it's okay to charge for your spiritual gifts. It's okay to get paid to create good in the community. In fact, it's better to get paid to create good in the community rather than getting paid to plunder the earth. Wouldn't you agree? Cool. So I'm just going to finish with an imagination if you would like to join me. What's possible for you? You can close your eyes if you want to, because I'm just going to talk you through some imaginations. And as we imagine, as we start to create and visualize, we are putting the wheels in motion for something to shift for us, for something to come into manifestation. So imagine you're lying in bed and you're just woken up and you get filled with the most amazing sense of excitement. You're excited. You cannot wait to get out of bed, so you leap out of bed because you know you're going to make a difference in the world that day. Really see yourself getting out of bed, feeling excited. And as you're brushing your teeth, I want you now to feel stable, secure, safe. Because you know when you turn your phone on, you look at your iPad, or you go to the PC, there's going to be more money in there than there was when you went to bed. Really feel that security. And then expand beyond that into your day and see the transformation and the ripple effect of that transformation going out into the world. Happy people, happy communities, people caring, sharing, giving, loving, creating, expanding. Because you had the courage to give of your unique talents and skills and to step up and say, I'm going to make a difference today. And then attach a feeling to that, some kind of feeling word. How does that make you feel? Happy, glad, expanded, inspired? What's the word? Because we're going to lock that into the body. How do you feel making that difference and knowing that you're financially secure? Shout the words out if you will. Joy? Joy?
Joyful.
What was that, sorry?
Joyful.
Joyful, great. What else?
Gratitude.
Gratitude, grateful. Inspired. What else?
Freedom.
Freedom, you feel free, awesome. What else? Fulfilled. Light?
Alive.
Alive, great. Excited, awesome. So whatever those words are for you, or grab all of them, lock them into the body, clench your fist, screw your face up, lock it into the cells of the body as a memory so it's there for you. So you lock it in, you anchor in that feeling, and then just release it. And you've begun the process of shifting the paradigm of our financial system, of our monetary system. And you've begun the process of awakening to what your role is in that. Thank you.